Okay, here's the deal. Star Wars writers, they could cure cancer, resolve all the world wars, stop hunger from happening, and walk on water, and still people will have a problem with them. I mean, what is going on here? The new Mandalorian movie trailer just came out. Mandalorian and what's that guy's name? I just called him Baby Yoda. I think it looks incredible. I think this is an improvement from the first trailer. Huge improvement, because you have all the elements of Star Wars all in place. But some people, they have a problem with this. It's okay if they criticize. That's all right. But the amount of trashing that's going on and being cynical, that's a little bit over the top. I mean, as I said on one of my videos before, that if you are brave enough as a writer for Star Wars, if you're brave enough to write a Star Wars movie, you got to have very thick skin. I mean, skin made out of titanium, because you are going to get those people no matter how good the movie is, no matter if it's from the original source material, no matter if it's sort of like the Han Solo and Luke Skywalker era and it's that good. It doesn't matter. Because now we have a whole bunch of people coming out of the woodworks looking desperately at little chinks in the armor, looking at little holes and little bit of imperfections so that they could write about it, so that they could go on YouTube and rant and rave. I'm going to get to their sincerity pretty soon. But let's just go back to the writing part of it all. The writers there are constantly under pressure, not just Star Wars, but also Marvel writers. I don't think if I had the phone call and they say, "Hey, York, we want you to write for the next Marvel movie," I may hang up the phone, because I know that nothing that I do in 2026 in this current era will ever please the Marvel fans anymore. It used to be that Marvel and also Star Wars was the gold standard, especially Star Wars. Star Wars has been around since I was a little boy, all right? In fact, all right, just to age myself a little bit, I watched the very first Star Wars movie back in 1977 or whenever it came out. Yeah, that long ago. And I'm such a loyal fan that I've watched every single Star Wars movie, including Solo, that some people despised. I thought it was pretty good. Also, I watched all of the spin-offs that some people did not like. I admit, some of the spin-offs weren't all that great. I'm looking at you, Accolade, or whatever that's called, with those two twins. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest experience, but I was still there for it. I could have got a whole bunch of tomatoes and thrown it at the screen and just go ballistic on it. But why should I do that? These are just entertainment. There's some people that say that the spin-offs and the other prequels and everything else, that it stole people's childhood, that their childhood was robbed from them. I mean, give me a break. It's really only the first world or the developing nations or the privileged people. They talk about these things like it's life and death. These are movies. This is a form of entertainment. What do you mean that is taken away from your childhood? How could a movie or a TV show actually ruin your childhood? No, there's something going on. There's something bigger than just these critics or these cynics coming out and destroying a movie or a franchise. As a writer, as I was just picking up this book right here, not quite finished this. This is called The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared. It's a pretty good book. Now, should they make a movie based on this book? Probably not. Not every book, not every comic book should be converted into a movie. But writers or people that are into reading novels, they know this. They are sophisticated enough not to go all crazy if a book doesn't meet their criterion. If part 2 of this book, if there ever is a part 2 of this book, it's not like the first book. We don't do that as writers and as avid readers. But when it comes to the movie industries and people watching these movies in the current year that we're living in right now, things have changed dramatically. I think, now bear with me, I think that there's a spiritual delusion that's going on. There's this one part of the scriptures of the Bible that says that everything is meaningless. It's a chasing after the wind. And some people are just chasing things, getting so engrossed into certain things that they just need to, as the old saying goes, touch some grass. Get out and see the sunshine. This is not the be-all and end-all to everything. It's a distraction. I'm writing a story called Aliens or Distractions, right? And that's going to come out soon in season 9 of Welcome to Earth Stories. And it talks about the whole alien thing, or is it just a distraction? But going back to Star Wars, I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of it. And I like the Marvel movies as well. Yeah, some of them are a hit and miss. All right, let's get over it. But to put down somebody that likes Mandalorian and I just say Baby Guru trailer or another movie that you may like, I think that's outrageous. And also it's insincere. A lot of YouTubers and podcasters as well, they want to get the likes, and the followers, and the comments, and if they're on social media, the retweets and everything else. And so because they want to get all of this, they have said, okay, let's go dark and negative so that we could attract more followers. So, and in fact, the people that are putting down these movies, they're going to be the first in line with their movie ticket and their big popcorn and their soda to watch the Mandalorian movie and also the Doomsday movie, Marvel Doomsday, coming out later on this year. They're going to be the first ones to watch all this, even though they're trashing it online. And also a big thing, you could be a cynic. Or you could be a skeptic. Cynics, they don't like anything. As I said at the beginning of this video, the writers of Star Wars, they could have done everything well. They could have practically walked on water and cured cancer, but still people will find something to hate. That is being a cynic. A skeptic, on the other hand, they could look at the trailer. They could look at all the other movies that Star Wars has put together, including the spin-off shows, and they could set aside their emotions and pick it apart and look at things objectively, like a scientist does, and testing and looking at all the components. See, that is a skeptic. There's a show that I used to listen to. It's a podcast. I'm not sure if it's still on anymore. It's called Song Exploder. And it's a great show because they'll take a song and they'll break down scientifically the components of the song. The bass line, the curves, the chorus, the instruments that was used, the way that the rapper or the singer, especially the singer, made that high note. And I thought that was a really neat show. Rather than putting all of their emotions into it, they just set aside their emotions. That's what Song Exploder did. I think we need to do that as well. As avid readers and especially writers, we know how to do that. We know how to take apart a story and look at it components and figure out what works, what doesn't work, what needs to be retooled. Star Wars fans, they need to do the same thing. But again, that doesn't really create a lot of likes. Now take a look at this screen right over here. This, if I were to post something like this, okay, if this was my thumbnail, let me take a look right over here. Okay, if that was my thumbnail, I would probably get tons of likes. Why? Because look at it, right? It's full of negativity. That's what moves people. That's what multiplies the views. But I wouldn't be sincere. And a lot of people are just not sincere at all. It's all show and tell. It's all smoke and mirror. It's a facade. So don't buy into it. I want you to be skeptical. Skepticism is always healthy, as I said before. We always need to be skeptical no matter what. We need to look at the good and look at the things that needs improving on. It makes us a better writer. It makes us appreciate these movies that Star Wars and Marvel and whatever else is feeding us. I had to do that with even Supergirl. Remember that? Because the first time that I watched it, I think I was throwing stones at it. Until somebody pointed it out to me and said, hey, York, you know what? You should take a look at the backstory and see where the writers are coming from and even buy a copy of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which I did. And that opened my eyes. I think our eyes needs to be opened a little bit more. But a lot of this is a chasing after the wind. In the long scheme of things, these things that doesn't really matter. And I think that we need to understand that. If we grasp that, we'll chill out a little bit more. As we said back in the 80s, take a chill pill. It's not life and death. I mean, people in other countries are going through far worse than just their little entertainment. As we used to say that this is what's that figure of speech? I said this before in one of my other videos. A first world issue or whatever that is. That's what it is. So enjoy these movies. Enjoy the trailers that are coming out. Some of them are better than others. Yeah. But I want you to be open-minded and critical at the same time. This is York once again. Thank you so very much for watching these videos. I definitely appreciate it. And also I appreciate all your feedback. One of the people that sent me a feedback, he says, hey, York, these videos are great, but if you were just to tweak it and go a little bit more negative, you get more followers. I thank you for that if you're listening, if you're watching, but I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to play that game. If you like these videos, if you want to see more of them, then that's great. But I'm not going to do what some of my favorite YouTubers do and podcasters. Just before I go, there's 2 podcasters and YouTubers that I like, especially one of them. She's great. I'm not going to tell you her name, and I'm not going to throw her under the bus or anything like that, but she is great. But I stopped listening to her and watching her videos because they're just way too sensational. It gets my heart rate racing. That's what it does. You're on edge all the time. Now, not every podcast needs to do that. Well, I've ranted and raved long enough. This is York once again. Also, if you want to check out a show that I've been producing since 2017, that's called Welcome to Earth Stories. It's a sci-fi original show with voice talents from all around the world, from Japan, from right here in Canada, from the Yankees, from my brothers and sisters in Europe, all around the world. We get together and I write original material every single season. So check it out. We're going on season 9 later on this year. That's it for me. I'm going to go back to reading The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared. I'm like middle way into this book. All right. That's it for me. You take care.